This will be an interesting fight if it actually happens. They're talking about making Badou Jack versus Marcus Browne on the undercard of the Pacquiao, Broner pay-per-view. Badou Jack apparently says here that he'd like to be more active. He wants to be fighting 3 or 4 times a year. Is that a hint to his promoter, Floyd Mayweather, who he's always been on good terms with, but is Mayweather doing the best job for him right now? Who knows? Who knows? I just do find it interesting that he said he wants to be more active. He says his next fight won't be against the champion. Marcus Browne has had some legal issues outside the ring. That's the reason that he didn't end up fighting Sergey Kovalev, because of the legal problems. And I think that might have also been the reason that he didn't fight Artur Beterbiev. Correct me if I'm wrong, but he certainly had legal problems, and that has kept him relatively inactive. But Marcus Browne, prior to these legal issues, to me he looked like a very improved fighter. I was impressed by his performance against Thomas Williams Jr. I actually think he did a better job against Williams Jr. than Adonis Stevenson did. I know Williams Jr. is no great shakes as a fighter, but he's dangerous, he can punch a bit, and I felt like Marcus Browne did a really good job on him. He didn't take him out as early as Adonis Stevenson did, but he got hit a lot less, and to me he showed some nice ability there. Speed, punching power, accuracy, athleticism. I liked it. And again, to me, he looked like he had improved a lot since the previous time I'd seen him. So, against Badou Jack, a guy moving up in weight, yeah, I'd like to see this fight. I think it's an interesting one. I think Marcus Browne is a very confident character. Badou Jack is one of the silent assassin type fighters. So, yeah, I think it will be good, and I think it will be very competitive. It depends where Marcus Browne's head is at, because the legal issues might be a distraction. He might have other things on his mind. Perhaps the inactivity might have taken something away from him. I'm not sure. Then again, you could say the same about Badou Jack, but my perception is Badou Jack is more at peace mentally than Marcus Browne is right now. And I know people like to dismiss these kind of things and say, oh, it doesn't matter what a fighter has going on outside the ring. If they're good enough, they'll still win fights. You know, distractions outside the ring don't affect fighters. But that's just simply not true. Distractions outside the ring affect a lot of fighters. Some fighters can block it out, yeah. And you often find the most consistent fighters in boxing are the ones who have this ability to block everything out in their personal lives and completely concentrate and focus on boxing. But other fighters can't manage to do this. They can't block things out outside the ring. So with those kind of fighters, they're the ones who tend to blow hot and cold. They're the ones, and I'm not talking about physical issues. That's different. Okay, we know that physical issues are going to affect a fighter outside the ring. I'm talking about personal issues, relationships that you have with people, managers, promoters, so on and so forth. You know, spouses, girlfriends, etc. Even kids. These things can affect your emotional state. And some fighters can't switch that off when they get into the ring. And they're still thinking of things outside the ring in particular fights. They can be distracted. I don't know what kind of character Marcus Browne is. I don't know whether he'll be distracted, but it's something worth considering, given the fact that the guy has got these issues that we know he's got outside the ring. And these things are particularly impactful in competitive fights when you're going up against a very dangerous opponent. That's when being in the right frame of mind is ultra important. If you're worried about your girlfriend hitting you with whatever it is, your wife wanting a divorce and hitting you with some kind of alimony business, if you're fighting a journeyman, it's probably not gonna, you'll probably get away with it. Let's just put it that way. You'll probably get away with being distracted. But if you're fighting a top world level fighter, there's a good chance you won't get away with being distracted. I remember watching one of Gervonta Davis's fights. Might have been his last fight or maybe a few fights earlier, and he was noticeably distracted in the ring. I don't know whether it was the issue that he has with Mayweather or one of his legal issues. I don't know what it was. But Gervonta Davis for that fight was noticeably agitated and distracted, and there was something clearly outside of boxing bothering him. You can't afford to have a night like that when you're fighting an elite fighter or a world-class fighter. You can't afford to have that. So that would be my concern with Marcus Browne going into the Badou Jack fight. I don't know his personal life that well, but I know he's had some legal issues. So if he is in the right frame of mind, firing on all cylinders, then I think him against Badou Jack is a very competitive fight. Very competitive. You would perhaps favor Badou Jack with his experience, but I wouldn't favor him by much. I'm telling you, Marcus Browne, from what I've seen, has got a lot of ability and is much improved. Yeah, early on in Marcus Browne's career, I really wasn't impressed, but his last few fights, yeah, I thought he looked good, and I'm not aware that he's fought recently. If he has, then please enlighten me in the comment section, but as far as I'm aware, he hasn't fought recently. So anyway, let me know what you guys think of this potential fight for the Pacquiao-Broner undercard. I think it's a good undercard fight indeed, very good, and I look forward to it if it gets made. So yeah, let me know how you feel, people. It's Satman, I'm out.
Join me on Patreon. I upload a minimum of 2 podcasts every single week, covering a wide variety of controversial topics, as well as live stream Q&A sessions. Take a look on screen right now at some of the podcasts I've produced so far. For just $3 a month, the equivalent of about £2 a month, you get access to all my new podcasts and my entire back catalogue of past podcasts, including my popular Confessions of a Nightclub Bouncer series. You can listen on your computer or on your smartphone or tablet by downloading the Patreon app from the Google Play Store or the App Store for free. The Patreon app also allows you to download each podcast in MP3. For less than the price of a cup of coffee, you get access to dozens of hours of exclusive content. It's easy to sign up, there's no contract, and you can cancel at any time. So come and join our community of free and critical thinkers by signing up with me here on Patreon today.